Super Mario Bros. 2, the second entry in the Super Mario franchise, also known as Super Mario Bros. 2 USA in Japan. This game is a classic. I still love it to this day. Does it hold up still? Let's get into it. In Japan, they had a different Super Mario Bros. 2, which we call here in the West the Lost Levels. Japan's Mario Bros. 2 was what people deemed to be unfair and cheap challenge, a hard game. And so, especially after the video game crash of like 1983, they didn't want to bring that to the States, and have something like that happen again and make people upset. So there's a game called Doki Doki Panic that Nintendo was working in a collaboration with, but it was made by the Mario team, and so they brought that over here as our Mario Bros. 2 and put Mario characters in it. So even if it originally was called Doki Doki Panic, it was still made by the Mario team, so it's still a Mario game. It even has Mario feel to it. The story of this game is that Mario had a dream where he climbed a big staircase and then opened a door. He heard a voice of one of the civilians from the world of Subcon, where this game takes place, and that they've been cursed by the evil King Wart, the main final boss bad guy of this game. So it's up to Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach to save the people of Subcon and defeat Wart and his many minions. As I mentioned before, you get to play as Mario, Luigi, Toad, and Peach. Each character has different abilities and they play slightly different. Mario's all around, good jump, good speed. He can pick up objects quick. Luigi is just like Mario. He picks up objects like a split second slower, but he has a flutter kick, so he can stay in the air for a long period of time. He also is the highest jumper in the game. Toad, he's the fastest. He can pick up objects the fastest. He can run the fastest, but his jump isn't like, it's not bad, but I think, he definitely has like the shortest jump in the game. So he can't jump that high. Peach picks up objects the slowest. She runs probably the slowest, but she can float in the air, and so you can take advantage of that to skip over hard parts of the level if you need to. I always play as Mario. He's just good all around, but sometimes I just like to jump between characters to switch it up. But each character has their own unique benefits, so just pick whoever you want. There's 7 worlds in this game. Each world has 3 levels. Besides World 7, there's only 2. On the 3rd level of each world, you'll fight a boss at the end, like a main boss. So usually at the end of each level, you'll fight a Birdo. Different colors. You can run into the normal pink one, the reddish one, and then there's like a gray one. And so Birdo shoots eggs at you, and then the different color ones will shoot eggs plus fireballs, and then there's one that just shoots fireballs. So they change it up, but on world, at the end of each world, there will be a main boss like Mauser or Tri-Clyde or even the fire boss, so Fry Guy. So yeah, lots of unique bosses, main bosses, so it's a lot of fun. Throughout each level, you'll be picking up vegetables and throwing them at enemies. You can pick up enemies and throw them at other enemies, or throw them off a cliff if you want. You can pick up cherries. I believe if you pick up 7, you'll get a starter spawn. There's also potions, and when you throw a potion down, especially at the right spot, you'll be teleported to subspace. And so while you're in subspace, you can find a mushroom, and that gives you an extra heart, so you can take an extra hit. You start off with 2 hearts, but you can get up to 4 or 5 in a level if you find those mushrooms, but you have to throw the potion down at the right spot. Also, while in subspace, you can pick up vegetables, and they'll give you coins only while in subspace. And so when you beat levels on here, there'll be a roulette, a lottery machine, slot machine, and that lets you use those coins to get chances at an extra life. So you want to collect those. I believe you can collect coins in subspace 2 times in a level, I believe. So pick and choose where you drop that potion carefully. You can enter a door and like respawn the potion if you mess it up, but yeah. Lots of iconic enemies came from this game, such as Shy Guys, Pokies, even Birdo herself. And they're staples to the Mario franchise, and also Sniffits. So we have these characters to this day. And they have appeared in other games like Yoshi's Island. The Sniffits and the Shy Guys are on there as well. So just iconic enemies, and people are like, oh, this isn't a Mario game. It is a Mario game. It was made by the Mario team. The boss fights on here are a lot of fun. They can be slightly tricky, like Tri-Clyde trying to avoid his fireballs, but it's not too hard. Mauser, iconic fight, and a lot of fun. You do face him twice. In the Game Boy Advance version, which is called Super Mario Advance, I believe they replaced one of those fights with a new boss called like Robo Birdo. It's like a robot giant Birdo. So that's a pretty cool new addition that they added to that version. But on here, I believe you fight Tri-Clyde and Mauser twice, but that's not a problem. At the end of each level, when you defeat a Birdo, you'll pick up a crystal ball, and it will teleport you out of the level. If you're in, like, the later half of the game, there'll be a Birdo fight, and then you'll fight the main boss of that level, which still is not really too hard. There are secret warps to jump through different worlds on here, just like in Super Mario Bros., where they had the warp pipes that would let you skip through half the game. So on here, you want to take the potion with you, and there'll be certain vases that you can jump into. And so basically, you want to go put one down near it, if you know like the particular vase, and while you're in subspace, you go down it, and it lets you teleport. There's multiple warps in the game. 3, maybe another. I don't really use them because I just like to play every level, but they're there if you want. Especially because like during the NES era, besides Zelda, there wasn't really much games that had a save feature. So it just lets you like jump back to where you were if you say took a break. But you can use those if you want. As you progress through the game, the levels will get slightly more challenging. There'll be levels where you have to like dig up sand and pick different paths. You have to avoid the sparky enemies. And then there's levels where it's just like a grassy terrain, and some levels where you go underground into caves. But the level design in here is very good, very fun, nothing repetitive. The music in this game is so iconic, especially the overworld theme. When I first played Super Mario Bros. 2, I played the Game Boy Advance version, Super Mario Advance. And even in Smash Bros. Melee as a kid, they had the Mario Bros. 2 stage. And I'm like, oh, that's from the Game Boy Advance. But, like, I was like 4 when that Mario Advance came out. So I didn't know there was an original Mario Bros. 2 at that time when I was a kid. But so iconic. The music in this game's great. The boss theme's great. The cave music. But there's not like too many tracks, but the tracks that are in here are very good. And the final boss theme is pretty cool too. Once you get to the final boss, the final level itself can be kind of like a maze, but once you like know the path, it's really not that hard. King Wart himself, or just Wart, the boss fight itself isn't really hard at all. He has a dream machine, I believe that's what it's called, in his boss room. And it shoots vegetables out. And so once he opens his mouth to shoot bubbles out to attack you, you throw the vegetables in his mouth. The bubbles that come out can destroy the vegetables, but if you like time it, get a rhythm going, you can throw it in before he shoots the bubbles, as soon as he opens his mouth. So once you like get used to it, you'll be fine, and it's not that bad. He takes like 5 hits to kill maybe, but it's not too hard, and it's very fun. Once you beat the game and the credits roll, the people of Subcon are saved, and Wart is no more. Even the people of Subcon get a little beating in on him. But then you realize it pans to Mario, and it was all just a dream. So he had a dream that he went up a staircase, and then like, oh, it was real, but it was a dream. So did he have like a dream in a dream? Anyways, that doesn't matter. What matters is that the people of Subcon are safe. Overall, the game is good difficulty. It's not hard, but it's not like super easy. If you're like a veteran with the 2D Mario games like me, it should only take you like an hour, a little over an hour to beat. So it's not too long. And I've probably only died like 3 times, and that's just because I think I opened a door one time and I got blown up by a bomb. I don't know how that even happened. Like, as soon as I opened the door it happened, but yeah. It's not really hard. And if you know to get those vegetables while in subspace, to get the coins, you'll have plenty of chances to get lives. And I think, obviously, this game would have to have continues, right? I think. Pretty sure. But, yeah, not hard. Good challenge. I will say something, is that Toad on here is blue, but in the Super Mario Bros. 2 artwork, he's just a normal colored Toad, like the main Toad. Even in the Game Boy Advance remake, Super Mario Advance, Toad is just like a normal Toad. But then when you play Mario 3D World, it's Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad again, but it's Blue Toad, and they all have their unique stats as well, like Peach can float, and Toad can run the fastest. So, was he originally blue as a limitation of the NES hardware, with like, you can only put a certain amount of colors on the screen at once? Or did they always intend for him to be blue? Because if he was blue, always intended to be blue, why in the Game Boy Advance remake is he not? And even in the artwork he's not blue, so maybe they wanted him to be blue in the future, they're like, just to make it more unique? I don't know. Anyways, I wouldn't think too much about it. Overall, this game's a lot of fun. I don't have anything bad to say about it. It's just pure fun, you know? Lots of fun. The only thing I really could say is kind of annoying is, there's a couple parts in the game, like very, very little parts, where you have to take like a leap of faith. And there's like a level where you're like falling and there's like spikes, you have to dodge them, but there's like a bottomless pit with like bridges cut in half, and you can easily just fall to your death, and like you wouldn't even know that would even happen unless you played the level before, but it's really not that big of a deal. They're like, that's like one of the only ones I could think of, but I guess the Phanto chasing you with the key, he could be annoying, but it's really not a big deal, and I like it. Overall, great game. I believe you can play this on the Switch Online if you have the normal $20 membership. Awesome game. I love it. Play it. And I'll see you next time.